My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of The Pale Blue Eyes. Now, a Christian Bale gothic mystery should be right up my alley, but I actually had zero interest in this movie for one reason and one reason alone, and it's because this movie is directed by Scott Cooper. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen all of his movies. I haven't seen Crazy Heart, which is everyone's favorite. But based off what I've seen, Antlers, Hostiles, Black Mass, is that it? That might be it. Regardless, all three of those movies suck. They had every opportunity to be better than what they are, but he just has a dry, lifeless style, and his scripts are not merely good enough to make up for that fact. I'm going to do a review series of all of his movies one day and rank them, but after that, I don't think I'm going to watch any of his again. Because this movie is no exception. He just makes this movie that could have been really entertaining and really interesting, but it's like he's trying as hard as possible to make it as lifeless and as boring as could be. And it's a real shame. Because I do think this movie is well shot, there's a decent level of atmosphere, and the performances are pretty decent. You've got Christian Bale, and he does a fine job. It's not his best work, but he's definitely not bad either. You've got Harry Melling as Edgar Allan Poe, and if you don't know who that is, it's the same actor who played Dudley in the Harry Potter movies, and he does a pretty good job actually. So, you've got nice looking movie, some nice atmosphere, some decent performances, but none of that matters if a movie is just as boring as can be and if you never feel invested, if you're never engaged. And that was my experience with this movie. And they do lean into the supernatural just a little bit, and I should have been totally into it, and he still found a way to make that boring. And what makes this movie even more frustrating is the fact that the last act is legitimately really good. This movie ends on a very strong note. And there's a small part of me that wants to rewatch the movie knowing the direction it goes in and just see what it's like watching it again. But at the same time, the first two acts of this movie are so boring that I have zero motivation to ever do that. This is a one and done. And I can appreciate what they're trying to do in the end. But it's just a case of too little too late. Because it does make the characters more interesting. It does make the mystery more interesting. And it's just like, oh my goodness, you're getting good now, right at the end of this movie. It's like the entire time I was struggling to pay attention. I was struggling to keep my eyes on the screen. And then the last act happens. I'm like, okay, I'm into this and it's over. I do believe there's a great movie here, like a great old-fashioned gothic mystery that doesn't have to be this fast-paced, exciting movie, but it still has some more life to it. With some great supernatural elements, and then you've got a great last act to tie it all together. There is a really great movie here, but it's not the one directed by Scott Cooper. It's just not. It's the movie directed by Robert Eggers. Not saying he'd do a movie like this, but that's the first name I thought of. There's plenty of other choices, but Scott Cooper, he's just so boring. So, yeah, there's definitely good elements to this movie. I'm not going to say it was a complete waste of time. I did like the way it ended, but getting there was a real chore, and unfortunately that hinders my entire viewing experience. So I'll give The Pale Blue Eyes a 4 out of 10. Okay, one thing that really frustrates me about this time of year is that this movie is classified as a 2022 release because it came out in a few theaters in LA and New York, so it's 2022 even though nobody else can watch it till 2023. Same thing with Living next week and The Son the week after, and it's just like, why do they do this? I get about marketing and platforming and all that, but it's just frustrating. I wish that movies were either just easily a 2022 movie or easily a 2023 movie. I don't like this murky middle ground, but have you seen the 2022 movie, The Pale Blue Eyes? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin